What Satchel Paige was for the Negro Leagues, John Wesley Donaldson was for pre-Negro Leagues history, early era of black baseball. One of the greatest pitchers to ever toe the mound, a dazzling left-handed pitcher whose feats were, I guess you could say, something right out of a video game. 3 consecutive no-hitters, over 400 verifiable wins, over 5,000 career strikeouts. And yet it's hard to believe that very few folks have heard of the great John Donaldson.
And now, Harvey. And a pitch. Misses inside. And we're underway here this afternoon. Next offering is in for a strike. John Donaldson was really the cornerstone for this all-nations team. He was the primary pitcher and played the outfield on the days he wasn't on the mound. Struck him out looking. Stepping in, Marshall. And that one is lifted in the air. Parker brings it in, and there are 2 down. Donaldson was just 21 when the All-Nations team got started, and in his first game for them, he struck out 18 batters.
And Boog, only 3 other pitchers have ever struck out 18 in a major league game at that age. Bill Gullickson, Kerry Wood, and Bob Feller.
Swings through it, and that's a strikeout. Second inning set to go. And now the right fielder, Bell. And the first pitch misses for ball 1.
Hall of Fame manager John McGraw said Donaldson was the best pitcher he'd ever seen. And remember, McGraw managed Christy Mathewson for more than a decade.
Strike 2.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Swings through that, and it's a strikeout. 4 straight set down by Donaldson to start the game. Next to hit, Taylor. And first offering is fouled off. Donaldson, he has a reputation, I don't know, maybe a knack for working himself out of tough situations that he finds himself in. You know, you like that in a relief pitcher, but when you have it for a starting pitcher, a guy that can get out of a tight spot, that is pretty valuable. Swing and a miss, and he got him. Back-to-back strikeouts. And here is Gardner.
Ball 1, no strike.
Donaldson delivers. Swings through that one.
1 ball, 1 strike.
And you won't see the skipper rush to get somebody up in the bullpen as soon as he starts to see some signs of trouble. This guy's earned a longer leash, and because of that, confidence grows with the players and teammates playing behind him that when things get a little rough out there, they know he'll find his way through it.
In the air, right field. Parker has a beat on it. Makes the play, and it's out number 3. All set for the bottom of the 9th. Now it's the right fielder, Terry. The first year of John Donaldson's pro career was in 1911, and it was clear he was a special pitcher. He went 44-3 that season.
Yeah, honestly, Donaldson's first documented game that year is just unreal. He faced a white team and struck out 19 against just 1 hit and a shutout. He was barely 20 years old at the time.
Goes down swinging for the strikeout. Some high cheese for strike 3 in Cole. Strike 1.
0-1.
Pitch misses there. 1-1. Swing and a miss. And it's 1-2. Next pitch misses.
Inside, ball.
2-2. Next
That's the
offering
ball.
misses. Full count now.
Got a full count.
Caught him looking for the K. Here's the third baseman, Gordon. And a pop-up, right side, foul territory. Ball game. John Donaldson with a gem for Kansas City.
For those of you who may be hearing the term barnstorming for the first time, as it relates to baseball, it just simply means that they were taking baseball to towns and places around the globe that had not seen this brand of professional baseball. And the Negro Leaguers were heralded barnstormers. As a matter of fact, the legendary Satchel Paige would credit John Donaldson for sparking his desire to want to barnstorm the country. John Donaldson was essentially a hired hand. Truthfully, it would be easier to tell you the places that he didn't pitch than it would be to tell you all the places that he did pitch. And it's so unfortunate that the color of his skin prevented this man from showcasing his dazzling skills against all of the great players in this game. You only wonder what if he had gotten his chance, and just how special would John Donaldson have been? I, for one, believe that John Donaldson would have been one of the greatest pitchers to ever play this game.
Here's some real power at the plate. Babe Ruth. The pitch. On the ground, right side. Fires over to first. One gone, bottom half of the first. Now here is Babe Ruth. The pitch. That one
Ball.
missed.
Outside.
Swing and a miss, and he
1-2.
waves at that one. Got him. Donaldson fans the Babe.
What made John Donaldson so special, number one, he was a southpaw. And he is likely the guy who invented what we now know to be the slider. Yeah, John Donaldson was throwing that pitch 20 years before anyone knew anything about it. He was hard to hit. No one had seen stuff quite like John Donaldson.
All right, ready to get underway. And now the right fielder, Terry. The wind of the pitch. In for a strike, and away we go this afternoon. Next one misses, and that's ball one. Check swing, and that's a ball.
John Donaldson's slider is such a big evolution in baseball's history. He threw it so much harder than the typical breaking balls other pitchers were throwing at the time.
The next pitch misses. 3-2 now. Singy, you think of all the pitchers who came after Donaldson who made a living on their sliders, a really amazing lineage of stars.
Absolutely, Boo. Pitchers like CC Sabathia, Fergie Jenkins, Bob Gibson, they all built their careers on the back of excellent sliders.
John Donaldson could get the ball up to home plate as fast as anyone. And yes, it is true that one of his fastballs broke the hand of his catcher. I'm sure his catcher was not excited about that. And like a lot of the guys who were catching these guys like John Donaldson and Satchel Paige, you had to find a little something extra to create padding to try and protect your mitt with the catcher's mitt. And it was just hard for the opposition to catch up with that fastball of John Donaldson.
Okay, all set to go. Here's the left fielder, Harvey. The wide to kick the pitch. That one fouled off. Donaldson winds and fires. Pitch misses, and now it's even 1-1. And that skips in the dirt. John Donaldson's fastball would play in any era. Some newspaper writers put it on par with Hall of Famer Rube Waddell's heater, and Rube had arguably the best heater in the majors at the time. Struck him out. Donaldson's got a good fastball today. Now, Marshall swings through that one. 0-1.
That Donaldson fastball to go along with this slider, it just wasn't a fair match against the batters at the time. Kind of reminds me of Aroldis Chapman when he broke into the majors with the Reds. Just unhittable stuff.
Donaldson delivers. Misses. It's a ball and 2 strikes. That just misses. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Donaldson rings him up for the K. So up next, Reese. In there, and it's 0-1. Strike 2.
No balls, 2 strikes.
That to right. Parker drifts towards it. Drops into the glove. And that ends the inning. Back now at Muehlebach Field. New inning getting started. Now it's going to be Bell. That's in for a strike. Next offering is in for a strike. The 0-2 from Donaldson. Good job to fight that one off. And down on strikes he goes. And there's one away. So digging in, Taylor. And a pitch. And that one wrapped foul. Left-hand hitter waits. Swings and misses. Had him way out front of the slurve. And the batter now, Gardner. That's a little bit low. The 1-1 is fouled off. 1-2 now. Gets under it and pops it up. Little squeezes it, and that's the 3rd out.
When Satchel Paige says that he emulates you, then you pretty well know that he had to be a great showman, and John Donaldson was all of that and more. Like most who played in the Negro Leagues, they understood that this game was indeed entertainment, and Donaldson was the show, and people came to see the show, and he always delivered. This is where Satchel Paige got a lot of his antics, and we know the stories of how Satchel Paige would call the outfielders in and sit the infielders down. But try this on for size. In South Dakota, John Donaldson, one by one, started to call in his players to end up striking out the side. He knew he had the stuff, and he wanted to show off that great stuff, and people flocked to see him do his thing.
Now it's the right fielder, Terry. The wind of the pitch. That misses, and we're underway here this afternoon.
Ball 1, no strike.
Swing and a miss.
1-1.
And the count even at 1. Swings through that one for strike 2. Goes down looking. And here we go. Donaldson sending 2 of his infielders off. Now the number 2 hitter, Cole.
Oh, 1.
Donaldson delivers.
Ball.
That one
That's
drifts
in.
inside.
Ball 2.
There's a swing and a
2
miss.
balls, 2 strikes.
Cuts and misses. It's a strikeout. And there go the other 2 infielders. It's just Donaldson out there by himself. 2 outs, base is empty. Gordon now at the plate.
Ball 1.
Donaldson winds and fires.
This guy's sink has so much drop at it, it's almost like a split finger fastball. Instead of just weak contact and balls on the ground, he gets swings and misses.
Fights that one away, still 1-2. Struck him out. Donaldson is just unhittable.
By the time John Donaldson gets to the Kansas City Monarchs, he is really beyond his prime. But don't get it twisted. John Donaldson was not only a great pitcher, John Donaldson was also a great two-way star in black baseball history and in the Negro Leagues with the Kansas City Monarchs. His skill set was incredible. A great hitter who you could rely on to come in and get the job done on the mound as well, because he was indeed one of the great two-way stars of the Negro Leagues.
Here comes John Donaldson with a chance to do some damage. Line drive, could be extra bases. 1 run's in. The second run scores. It's 2-zip. Relay throw, and he's in there as they score a pair on the play.
Picks himself up a couple of ribbies. Off the bat, it was headed for the gap all the way. And as a hitter, you love seeing those as you take your first couple of steps out of the box. You know you've got some real estate to run on. It's such a good feeling. Nice liner into the gap right there.
And that's a base hit. Off to a good start with a leadoff knock. With Donaldson's combination of hitting ability, pitching skill, and outright athleticism, there aren't many players who compare. Reminds me a bit of what Shohei Ohtani's done the last couple of seasons. Swing and a ball lined out towards center. and that will end the inning. John Donaldson digging in now. And fouled off.
I think ultimately you want to tie him up, get the ball in on the plate so that he can't get the barrel to it and hit it to the outfield.
Smoked on the ground to second in plenty of time to first, and they're down to their last out. Here comes John Donaldson with a chance to do some damage. Ground ball to the right side. But it's 1-0 as the run scores. And he swings and misses at the initial offering. Righty delivers. Fouls one off out of play, back to our left. That misses the zone, and that is ball one. On the ground right side, and he handles it himself for the out. And that's in there for strike one.
0-1's the count.
In the air out to center. Turner settles under it. He's got it, and there's two away. That's out to center field. Turner pulls it down, and he makes the catch. And that is the third. Back to the top of the order now. John Donaldson will hit next. Hammered. Could be extra bases. One run's in. Now the second run is in. And they lead by two. The relay, not in time. He's safe as 2 runs score on the play.
Well, that's a huge swing to clear the bases, drive in 2, and get all the way around to third. A triple into the opposite field gap. That gets me going right there. Just a perfect swing, man. Like he was still taking BP or something. And then instantly transitions into a base runner. Great hustle to get all the way around to third.
Ball comes home, and he's dead at the plate. But they do get a run. Ground ball up the middle. They get the force. That's the third out. Inning over. The big lefty turns, kicks, deals. That's through there for a strike. Next pitch is popped up. Murray hauls it in, and there's one away. John Donaldson digging in now. Inside corner for a strike. It's 0-1. In the air to left center. Looks like extra bases. One runs in. A second scores as well, and they take a 2-run lead. He's safe at third. It's a 2-run triple. Welcome back. Here's the second baseman, Taylor. The sheer magnitude of John Donaldson's stats is just nuts. 424 wins, more than anyone but Cy Young. More than 5,000 strikeouts, which only Nolan Ryan has done since. And he pitched in more than 750 cities across the United States and Canada. Jumps, but it's off his glove. And he beats it. He's safe. And the batter will be the shortstop, Murray. And he swings and misses, and it's 0-1.
Donaldson threw 2 perfect games and 14 total no-hitters. He even threw 3 straight no-nos in 1915 as part of that run of 30 no-hit innings. And he struck out 30 batters in a single game twice.
Got him. And one gone. Now the third baseman, Hayes. First offering, misses the mark. And that one fouled off.
You know, after Donaldson was done playing, he became the first black man to work as a scout for a major league team. The Chicago White Sox hired him in 1949, and he worked for him for 6 years.
The next offering misses. 3-1.
Donaldson had one player in particular that got away in his scouting career. You know, he recommended that the White Sox sign a young shortstop with the Monarchs who wound up signing across town with the Cubs and ended up having a Hall of Fame career himself. You know who it was? Ernie Banks.
Bates in the box now. No balls and a strike. That one sizzling on its way through to the outfield. The throw in, and he's in there as a run scores.
Well, that gets him a little closer in this one. There's nothing cheap about the way he got that one through the infield. That was ripped. Caught out in front and didn't get under it like he would have liked, but definitely put a good swing on it.
Swing and a miss. And it's a ball and a strike. Bates, the runner at first with 2 gone. Next offering is fouled back. Puts it in the air out towards left center. Sanders gets under it. He's got it. And that is out number 3. Back here at the ballpark, bottom of the 8th. Now the left fielder, Glass. And that one fouled off. Donaldson delivers. He swings and fouls one off. Fights that one away, and the count remains 0-2. Next pitch just misses. And the count 1-2. Swings and misses. It's a strikeout. Slider got him for strike 3. And now Smith. There's a strike. Line drive. That's a hit.
Nice line drive to the pull side. Met it out front, but just stayed through it nice enough and ripped it into the outfield.
McDonald stands in now and watches strike 1. 0-2 as he waves at that one. Got him swinging. Now a move being made for a pinch hitter. Mason, the runner on first with 2 gone for him. Tapped at the plate, but it's a foul ball. Got him looking for the K. Called strike 3 and a fastball up in the zone. Back now at Southside Park. Now it's the second baseman, Taylor. Swing and a miss. That's strike 1. That's off the mark, and the count is 1-1. Next pitch misses inside, and that's ball 2. Swing and a miss, and the count is 2-2. Sets him down looking. Fastball at the letters, throws him for strike 3. Murray stands in here, leaves that one off the inside. On the ground, Perry tosses to first. Now only one out remaining. Swings through that one. 0-1. Next one misses, and it's 1-1.
1-0.
The 1-1 is fouled off. Donaldson winds and fires. Hit weakly on the ground. He caught it behind his back to second, and that's not it. Throw is low, and it gets by. So now it's the 4-hole hitter, Bates. That's in there. That's strike 1. Ball game. John Donaldson slams the door for KC.
James Leslie Wilkinson, who owned the Kansas City Monarchs, believed that John Donaldson was the greatest pitcher in Kansas City Monarch history. He was a left-hander with a dominating fastball, great curve, and a full repertoire of other pitches. But like most great pitchers, he could absolutely throw everything for strikes. Now, mind you, J.L. Wilkinson had Hall of Famers Hilton Smith, Wilbur, Bullet Joe Rogan, Jose Mendez, and of course, the legendary Leroy Satchel Paige. And he was perhaps the most fond of John Donaldson. Now, part of that may have been because John Donaldson made J.L. Wilkinson a lot of money, because Wilkinson was literally hiring Donaldson out. And it's seemingly everywhere that Donaldson went, he dazzled. Yeah, he was a special, special ball player. And it's hard to believe that a ball player of this magnitude, very few folks have ever heard about.